Weddings-ish, 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 with Jove.
Hello, and thank you so much for tuning in to Weddings-ish with Jove, a podcast all about love, joy, and weddings-ish with a special guest each episode. I couldn't be more excited to have in studio Claire Stern Milch, digital director at Elle. How are you?
I'm so happy to be here.
I'm so happy you're here to talk all about your wedding.
I can't wait.
And your career.
I'm glad it's still relevant because it happened almost a year
It was
ago.
March or April?
It was March.
Okay.
March 16th.
Oh, beautiful. I'm March 21st for my birthday, so I love March.
Aries.
Are you also?
I'm a Pisces, but it's sort of a Pisces cusp. I'm the
Wait,
20th.
I'm a cusp. You're March 20th?
Yeah.
I'm March
really...
21st.
There you go.
Okay, wait, so we're going to be best friends.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm
think
sad
that's
you
what it
already got married because I should have been at your wedding if we're basically the same person.
vow renewal. You're the first invite.
Okay. Listen, or I'll plan it or both. Okay, so
and
I want to know everything. But let's talk about how you met.
Mm-hmm.
What is your husband's name?
His name's David.
David. And where did you and David meet?
It's an interesting story.
Okay.
We were neighbors
Like in the same building?
in the same building.
In New York City?
In New York City,
Okay.
in downtown Manhattan.
Okay.
We're both West Village residents.
Yep.
And this was not a nice building by any means, by the way.
But you were like across the hall from each other?
Caddy corner, 5th floor walk up.
Okay.
Met him in the stairwell.
No.
Mhm.
Like how long into living there?
It's a good question. Actually, a few months into living
Okay.
there. This was 2019.
All right.
The fall of 2019. And really just an odd year of living in that apartment in general.
Okay.
Because like many others, I vacated during the pandemic.
Yep.
So I really only lived in that apartment for
For a
6
short period of
months,
time. But
that
enough
was-
to meet the love of your life.
Yeah. I think
So how did it
worked.
happen? You were literally like, is it this rom-com moment where you're going up and down the stairs and you see each other and then you both look back?
Not no.
No? Okay, tell me.
I was actually walking in from a bad date, to be
Oh,
honest.
okay.
And I was on the phone with one of my girlfriends complaining about it.
Recapping the
as
date,
one does.
as you do, 100%.
And I was on the phone with her walking up the stairs, and then David walked out. He was taking down the garbage to the so romantic.
So sexy.
Yeah, so hot.
Hey,
and
garbage
then,
man.
Yeah.
Was he in like casual shorts and a t-shirt?
Casual outfit
Okay.
for sure. Probably gym shorts and
Sure.
a t-shirt. And then we started talking, and then eventually my friend just hung up because it was
Because
going
you were
on.
literally holding the phone or you had like an earpiece in?
I think I had my AirPods.
Sure.
in. But anyway, she eventually hung up. We talked for a considerable amount of time.
Did he
because we had
stop
never
you or
met.
did you stop him?
I think it was mutual, literally. Just
To get around each other because
Yeah.
it's a skinny staircase.
Exactly. Yeah. So we started talking, and then I called my friend back, and she had questions.
Of course. She was like,
Yeah.
who's this man you met in the staircase?
Right.
Lock your door.
Then it sort of it blossomed from there.
I need more details. Did he like come knock on your door? Did you
Yeah.
have a date in the apartment? Like
I
this
know.
is like what people hope for. Is like this is
Yeah.
a rom-com reality like in real life.
No, it's true. Whoever says you have to leave your apartment to meet someone
Is wrong.
Is wrong. Is incorrect.
Because you literally met in the building. Okay, so you passed each other and then who invited who on the first date?
So actually, that was the first time we met in the hallway.
Uh-huh.
The second time we met was a little more dramatic.
Oh.
Someone was buzzing into our building,
Mm-hmm.
and they were masquerading. This is so convoluted, but they were masquerading as a third party energy company.
Okay.
Trying to lower your energy
Yes,
bill.
we've
It
all
was a scam.
been there.
It
Yes.
was a scam.
Yes.
So he knocked on my door, this man, and I was a little frightened. I live alone.
Yep.
And he kind of backed off and went away. But then I heard this man, because we're right next door, knock
Yep.
on David's door.
Oh no.
And of course, David, I guess, just being the stronger, braver man, was like, "Get the hell out of here!
Yeah.
I'm calling the
I'm
cops.
out. Yeah, like I'm not here for this.
I'm not here for this." And then we started talking again. Then we exchanged information. And
Okay.
then he knocked on my door, letting me know the police came. So that was very
So that was like the longest conversation you had had.
right.
So
That
staircase
sort of-
was like intro.
right.
Then like bodyguard security,
Yes.
fake energy was
This man can protect me.
real conversation.
Yeah.
And then when did you go on a date?
Then we didn't start dating till much later.
Okay. So neither of you knew right away, or was it kind of like a sleeper romance?
I'm curious what he would say.
Me too.
I had a huge crush on him. I was actually seeing someone else.
Okay.
But I had a huge crush on him. I would call him the neighbor to all my friends. And
so everybody knew about him.
Everyone knew about him. The important people knew about him.
Yeah.
And then once the other guy was out of the picture, we started dating over the pandemic when neither of us were living in the building. So that was easier. It's not.
Oh, you had both moved out.
We were both, like the 30-somethings we are living with
back
our
home
parents.
Because of COVID. Everyone left the city.
Right.
So
that's when we started seeing each other.
Okay. So officially COVID love.
Yeah, I think officially.
Okay.
I think some people consider COVID the March to September when stuff was really happening. But our first date was September 2020.
Got it. I think that's right. Yeah, you're COVID love.
Yeah.
Who met in the staircase.
Yes.
That's like so wild. Everyone's at home swiping, but like look up. You might find the love of your life.
Right.
In your building, on the street.
And I never
anywhere.
Did the apps really. So it was good for me.
It was meant to be.
IRL was the share. Yeah.
And you both went to Columbia?
We both went to Columbia.
Okay, but you didn't meet there.
We did not meet there.
Okay.
I went to the journalism school and graduated in 2013. So we were there at the same time. He was in the business school.
Yep.
Graduated in 2014.
Got it.
This was another detail that went over my head when we first met.
Literally like B school and J school, and you didn't even...
Yeah, I remember I was never very good at math, admittedly. I remember calling my friend who is, and when we were talking after, I said, he's younger than me, though. I don't know how it's going to work. And she was like, Claire, he's max 34.
Yes. Yeah, he's like not 20.
Yeah. But in my head, I thought he was younger.
You're like, this can't happen.
Yeah, but that would be fine, too.
Yeah. What's the age difference?
4 years.
Okay, that's not...
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's not unheard of. It's not wild.
But I like being younger.
Yeah. I mean, 100%. Why not?
Makes me feel young.
You look very young. You look 8 years younger.
Thank you. So do you. Youthful face.
Thank you. Oh, my God. Stop it. Twinning over here. I also went to Columbia, so we didn't meet there either. Right. But we were all on campus probably just ignoring each other.
Columbia gang.
Or looking for other things at different times.
As one does.
As you do. Okay, so you sort of hit it off. Did you move in together right away, live separate?
We lived separately that year, 2020 to 2021, and we moved in together the following fall. So after a year of dating, we
pretty
moved
quickly.
In. Yeah.
Okay.
We were older, I think. It felt right to me.
Yeah. You're like, if this man can take out trash, we can get married.
We already kind of lived together.
Yeah, you had a sense for each other.
No, it was a big deal, though. It was the first time I'd ever lived with someone.
Yep.
But I just kind of knew, and logistically it was easier
and
than
it felt right.
Planning a bunch of dates, and it felt right. And I think
100%.
I do think I never felt this way before, but I am glad I lived with him before we got engaged and married.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
I also moved in with my partner a year into date. We're like, it's eerily
engaged.
very similar, and I'm engaged, and I'm 1 year behind you, but we're very similar.
I love that.
And we moved in, and then so when did you get engaged?
We got engaged. It's a good question. In 2023.
2023. Okay.
So about 2 years after living together.
Got it, which is totally reasonable.
Yeah.
Were you
I was comfortable with it.
Okay, good. Were you like that girl that was like waiting on the engagement, or were you sort of like chill and if it happens, it happens, or somewhere in the middle?
Yeah, probably somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
Definitely wanted it to happen,
Yep.
but I'm very comfortable with the timeline, and we discussed it.
Yeah.
He knew the
Everything.
ring I wanted.
Oh, like you told him this is the ring.
I definitely gave him an idea of the ring. I think, no, it was perfect because I was surprised at the timing, but I wasn't surprised that it was happening, which I think for me was ideal.
So there was like some control and knowledge, but some variable of surprise, which is
right.
Got it.
Specifically with the ring.
Yes. Well, let me see it. Oh my gosh.
Specific in mind.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's nice. Every Jewish boy should know a diamond dealer in the diamond district. So he kind of just needed something.
Some kind of connection and then like a shape, and you're off to the races.
Yeah, he did a great job. It's beautiful, and it's perfect for me.
I love that. When and where did it happen?
The engagement?
Yeah.
The engagement happened in Westhampton Beach.
Okay.
At a restaurant called Daphne's.
Beautiful.
His family is out there, so we spend a lot of time out there.
Gorgeous.
But definitely did not think it was happening that
But
night.
did you have a blowout and a mani? Were you?
I did not. Actually,
okay.
I don't really get manicures,
okay.
but I got my nails done that day, but with no polish. I did not have a blowout.
Okay. But those girls are like, I had no idea.
Right.
And like,
right.
They knew.
Yeah. No, he actually had gotten a haircut.
Oh,
so
okay.
He was probably well aware. I think I knew he had the ring that weekend because on our way out to Long Island, we stopped at a McDonald's. And
the one that's out there that's very pretty.
No,
not that
one.
Looks okay.
I've always wanted to go there. Though.
It's literally like, how is this the nicest McDonald's in America?
Getting engaged there. Actually,
I was like, that would be iconic. I'm like, is that where we're going? Did you get engaged at the McDonald's in the Hamptons?
No, this was a less chic McDonald's.
Nonetheless
delicious.
Yes.
But when we were ordering, he sort of stopped and was like, I forgot something in the car.
No.
So I figured it was that.
Got it.
I had a feeling.
The nervous ring attack.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's common. Everybody has it.
Yeah. I think I had a feeling it might be happening at some point because he physically had it. But that night, no, because we made the reservation that day and we sat at the bar.
So it felt like very casual, like it's probably not happening.
Right.
And was it on the beach or in the restaurant?
It was in the restaurant at the bar. And the delivery itself was very casual too.
Was it in the drink or he just like popped it open?
He essentially, we were eating dessert. So the meal had finished.
Okay.
And I was eating, it was a creme brûlée. And he sort of turned to me and was like, how's your dessert? And I said, it's great. He said, what are you thinking about? I was like, this dessert. And he was like, do you want to get married? But I'm so glad.
It's kind of iconic.
It is. And I'm glad he didn't truthfully get on one knee just in that context.
Or make a big.
Everyone would have stared.
Sure.
And it was kind of just a subtle nod between us and the bartender.
And there was like no cheers. The crowd didn't go wild.
He brought out champagne and he took a picture of us. And but it was kind of on the low.
Yeah.
The rest of the restaurant wasn't.
Had no idea.
Yeah.
I love that. And that's like your vibe. That's what you would be hoping for.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't really I thought about the wedding.
Sure.
I had a specific vision for the wedding. The engagement, not so much. I think if it was me and him in some kind of special way, that was fine with me. And I wanted to ask my parents and both of them, not just my
not just
father.
one, your mom and your dad.
I wanted her to be involved,
and
that happened.
And that happened.
Yeah,
great.
She definitely told me.
She's like, he called.
Yeah.
I said yes.
But I like some level of knowledge and control.
Yes.
So
yes. It's a Pisces Aries in you. We're the same person.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that. So you got engaged in the Hamptons, very chill, but it sounds like you've been thinking about your wedding for a long time.
Yep.
Tell me why you decided New York City.
New York City. I've always wanted to get married in New York City.
Okay. Are you born and raised in New York?
I'm from Westchester.
Okay.
I was born in New York City, technically.
Okay. Oh,
but,
she's a city girl, raised in Westchester, and then came back to
exactly.
the city. Okay.
Left and came back club. My husband's from New York City.
Okay.
I think I'm not a huge fan of destination weddings for myself.
Yep.
And I think we were getting married later. We just wanted to make it as easy as possible
for everybody. And your world is here. Both of your worlds are here.
I would say about, 75% of the wedding was based
local.
in New York.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Then they didn't have to fly anywhere.
Right. I mean, some people definitely flew in, so very appreciative. But I know, it's a schlep. So we tried to make it easy. It was one night only, which I also really wanted to do.
Not a 3-night.
Not a.
But you did something at Budokan.
We did a rehearsal dinner at Budokan.
But that wasn't like a whole thing.
I guess it kind of was. It was for the wedding party, though, not the whole.
Not all the guests.
Not every single guest.
Okay.
So.
And tell me, it was at that long table downstairs?
It was the long table.
I love that table with those candelabras.
Yes.
With the birds.
Yes.
It's so beautiful, that room.
At the risk of sounding corny, ever since the Sex and the City movie came out, I always wanted to do it there. I was shocked it was still open because New York turns around so fast.
100%. It's like been there for a long time. Yeah. I don't know if it's ever going to go anywhere.
I hope not. It still hits. It's a beautiful venue and the food's great at Budokan. And they gave us a long table, so I got to replicate that Carrie Big scene minus the
That's
jilting.
amazing. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Harry and Big. There's so many iconic moments.
Yeah.
But you didn't want to do the New York Public Library.
I thought about it, but that was a little too close to how that ended up for her.
Sure. We're not interested in him driving away.
Yeah. I wanted him to show up.
Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Sex and the City.
Yeah, which
you should have seen it by now. Yeah.
For sure. But
I mean, he did try to come back.
He did.
I don't know. It's always such a hit or miss between the two of them. Do you think he didn't want to marry her? in that moment?
I think he has commitment issues. I think he's like your classic New York finance guy in some ways, where he's always, there's a bevy of options.
Sure.
He's always second guessing.
Something
and
better's
I
on
mean,
the horizon.
you don't want that in a partner.
No.
But I do think they were, those were the two that were supposed to end up together.
100%. Like, give us someone. Give us, like, I don't know. And then this whole new and just like that. I can't talk about it. I'm not a fan.
I respect that.
I watch it, of course.
Of course. I'm a diehard. I feel like I appreciate any kind of iteration of that show just because it was.
You love it so much.
Because I love it so much, but I absolutely can understand.
You understand my point of view.
Yes, very much.
So sweet of you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you did the Budokan because you were inspired by Sex and the City, and then the wedding itself was in New York City at.
It was at the Lighthouse at Chelsea Piers.
Oh, beautiful, right on the water.
Which was pretty,
It's gorgeous.
Which was a risk for March.
Yep.
But fortunately, we got an unseasonably warm day.
Oh, wow.
We got to sort of lift up the garage-style windows and
in
use
March?
the terrace. Yeah, it was touching. It was like high 60s.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
it could have been like today, freezing cold
and
snowing.
It could have been a snowstorm.
Yeah,
we got very lucky.
Okay.
With that, it was a really warm weekend, so we got to take our photos outside and everything.
I love that,
which was nice and unexpected.
Yeah, in March, but you know, you roll the dice. I feel like with climate change.
Yeah.
Clients these days are like, what's the weather going to be like? I'm like, I have no idea.
Right.
It could be raining or snowing in August. Like, honestly, I just don't know anymore.
It's truly scary, but I guess that was one silver lining.
It worked well for you at that time.
On that day. We'll see.
And what would you say was your wedding vibe or theme, or did you have one, or how did you sort of design your wedding?
Yeah, it was pretty classic, I would say, and minimalist. We had help, this lovely woman, Sora Choi, who's also Korean, like my mother, and half of me helped us with the sort of vision of the room.
Beautiful.
But we had a lot of tea lights, white flowers. We had some hanging lights over the dance floor, which were nice, but pretty simple,
pretty minimal,
elegant, pretty minimal.
And modern.
Pretty modern.
Got it. Not a classic New York City girl.
Yeah.
Or like a mix of classic and contemporary.
Yeah. I would say that's right.
Okay. What was your favorite part about wedding planning?
Oh, none of it.
None of it? Oh, no. Did you have a wedding planner, or you did it all by yourself?
I was fortunate to have some help, and mainly my mother, who was an absolute angel. But I think what maybe no one tells you is you're still doing everything.
Yes.
Especially when you have a vision or you have contacts or people you'd like to use. It really is a full-time job.
It's 100% a full-time job. And I'm glad you said that, even with a planner.
Right.
Because you still, like, as a planner, designer, we need to get to know you, but we source and manage all the vendors, but you still have to make a million decisions.
Right.
Like, we're going to make it easier for you. We're going to streamline it for you. But unless you give me your Amex and say, go forth and I trust you, like, there's still a million choices and decisions.
And I think even if you give the card and you say, I trust you, they'll still ask.
Yes.
Which, all due respect, that is not an easy business. And I am so appreciative. But it took up a lot of time, which is why I got married quite quickly, because I didn't want it to consume my life
your whole life for a long period. It's a new trend. Nobody wants to be married in a year or even a year and a half. Like, everybody wants a 6-month window.
I think we had about that, truthfully, and I think, I don't know, maybe it was COVID or just the unknown and the world's so uncertain that there's an element of why wait. I felt that way, but I also felt like I can't be in this wedding planning headspace for longer
more
than a
6
year.
months, 7 months. Yeah. I get it. It's a lot.
It made it really compact, and it's definitely a bit crazy during that time period.
Because you have all the same number of decisions in a shorter time period.
Yeah.
If you did it again, would you do it in the same time frame, or would you give yourself more time?
I probably would not change anything.
Got it. Keep it exactly the way that it was.
Yeah, I think so.
I love that.
It was a little nuts, but I'm happy everything
that you did it.
Yeah, the way it did.
And then what did you wear? 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 dresses?
Oh my gosh. I wore a few dresses. For the rehearsal dinner, I wore an off-the-shoulder Kate mini dress.
Beautiful.
I love Catherine Holstein. Kate's an amazing label.
Yeah.
So that was great. And then for the wedding itself, that was my favorite part. My favorite and only
was the fashion, or the wedding dress specifically?
I think the fashion and the wedding dress specifically. I sat next to this emerging designer Andrew Kwon at the
Yeah, he's
CMA
amazing.
Awards. He's so great, and he entertained the idea of making a dress for me on a very tight timeline, which I'm indebted to him for life for that. And getting to work on that with him was definitely the most special
Did you
part.
collaborate in terms of shape and color and style, or did he sort of like present you options, or how did that moment work?
It was a bit of a collaboration. I would say given the timeline, I sort of worked with his existing designs and sort of cobbled something
Customized
together.
from what he had,
Right, exactly. And then, there were some variations here and there. But it was nice. I mean, the two of us just did it on our own.
Yep.
No one else was involved.
I love that. No mom. Your mom was not involved?
She was not involved.
A strong Korean mom who did not care about your dress?
She definitely cared, but I think she was super deferential the whole process.
Wow,
So
I love that for you and for her.
Yeah, she didn't insert herself, and she let me know what she was wearing, but anything she wears is great.
Gorgeous
so that
anyways.
was fine.
Got it. So you didn't have to worry.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
What was your favorite part of your wedding? Was it the food, the dancing, everyone being in the same room, or something totally unrelated?
I liked the vows, and I loved our dance.
Okay.
We did a dance instructor, and we
Oh, you did
practiced
like
dance.
fully choreo?
We did. It wasn't quite choreo.
Okay.
She basically, this woman, Simone at Dance Together NYC, she gave us sequences.
Okay.
And we sort of repeated
Like
them.
8 counts, basically, that you could get comfortable with again and again and again.
Which was great, because I think if it was full choreo, I would have
had a heart
really
attack.
Anxious.
I'm sure.
But that was actually the most fun part. We were both surprised at how much
You
we
enjoyed the
dance
classes.
Yeah,
How
I was
many, for
skeptical.
those who are skeptical, because I think
Yeah.
some people feel the same way.
Yeah.
How many classes did you do before your wedding?
I would say probably between 6 and 8.
Okay. Like an hour-long class?
Yeah, like once a week.
But that's got to be fun. It's like a date night, and it's
Yeah.
something new for both of you, or had either of you
It
taken
was
dance?
new. Yeah, we were we were in dire straits at the beginning.
Did you
so-
both have a similar dance ability, or was one of you a little more naturally talented?
I think we both probably needed a little help.
Okay, you came in on equal footing.
Yeah, maybe I was a little more prepared. I had to take ballroom dance as a kid.
Got it. So you had some foundation.
I had some foundation, but
Okay.
he was great. And honestly, more of the work was on him because he had to do the lift.
Yeah.
He had to lead. So
Yes.
it was way easier of a job for me to just
100%.
attend.
A lot of the time, it's just like showing off the beautiful woman. It's like very hetero, and it's like, I'm the muscle and you're the beauty.
Which is also not great, but I liked
but in that moment, it worked really well for you.
Yeah, he did the lift, and that was really fun.
Oh, like a lift, or
did
like
a full lift.
Not a what movie is this lift? He did
Dirty Dancing.
Not a Dirty Dancing lift.
That would be wild.
He did just like a classic lift.
No, yeah, Dirty
A lift
Dancing.
and a spin.
A lift and then a dip.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Dirty Dancing. I mean, I would probably have a broken neck, but I'm sure people do that.
Yes, I've seen it once, and it was amazing. But you just don't know what could happen
at
that moment.
If that was the song, maybe we did Billy Joel, and we slowed it down so we could do the movement.
What song from Billy Joel?
It was The Longest Time.
Oh, I mean,
classic.
this is like such a New York. I mean, really, like all of it is very.
We
East
wanted
Coast.
it. We wanted to read New York. We also had late night Joe's Pizza at the end. So
cheese, pepperoni.
Just cheese.
Just cheese.
Yeah,
wow,
classic cheese. Yeah.
I feel like pepperoni's classic, but people
That's true.
don't always agree with me. They're like, it's cheese is the classic.
I guess people have
way
so
to
many specifications these days.
Yes.
Cheese was the safest option.
It's always good. Cheese
I
is
wasn't
always
going
good.
gluten-free or anything.
No,
Sorry.
no, it's a late night bite. Like you need
that wasn't
carbs
happening.
to digest all of your booze.
Right, exactly.
And
That was the idea.
you are the digital director at Elle.
Mm-hmm.
Did that have any pressure? Did you feel any sort of like eyes on you in a different way
Yeah.
because of your career that your wedding? You know what I mean? Like, was there any sort of outside pressure?
I would probably say for the fashion, sure.
Yeah.
I think I had just even a lot of family members and friends curious about
What
what
are you
dress
wearing? Who are you
is.
wearing?
Right. And fortunately, Andrew, Kate, and then I changed into this really cute Marcarian sparkly dress.
Oh, like for
saved
the
me.
after party or the dance party?
Sort of both.
Okay.
But they were all New York designers,
Okay.
Which I was really happy about. And so, yeah, that was probably the easiest part. So I would say that for sure. And then Elle launched weddings. So we now cover weddings
But were you the
online.
first wedding?
I was not the first.
Okay. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, that would have been. No, we've had some great people featured, a lot of editors, but there was that element for the story online. But everything came together. I think everything ended up being great.
And so tell me about Elle. I feel like I know Elle, but I don't know Elle. Tell me, I know Elle Woods, obviously, but that's not the Elle we're talking about here.
They're rebooting that, I think.
I heard. I don't know how I feel about like the prequel to Legally Blonde.
Right.
The musical has my heart. The movie's obviously iconic.
Right,
but the musical is with Laura Bell Bundy. I just can't stop. Okay, but this is not Elle Woods. This is Elle.
This is Elle Magazine. Yes, Elle is great. It's such a wonderful team led by, our fearless leader, Nina Garcia.
Yep.
And it's such a wonderful
And she's been
place.
leading it for a long time.
For quite some time.
Since like the Project Runway days.
Yes.
That's my memory. It just hit me. It's like Nina Garcia on her chair from Elle Magazine. Yeah. Wow, this took me a long time to get there, but I'm glad I'm there. Okay, so she's still leading it.
For sure. Yes, and it's a wonderful place. I think as somebody who has interests that affect women these days, whether that be politics, culture, the intersection of fashion with it all. That's our bread and butter and what we cover. So for all the women and men out there who enjoy a front row seat to all of that, that's what we provide. And it's a fun job. It's busy. We definitely keep busy.
I'm sure there's a lot of things going on.
A lot of shows, a lot going on politically, a lot in the fashion world. It seems like every week is Fashion Week right now.
Yeah, I mean, just like gorgeous gowns everywhere.
Right.
Which SNL 50, I was like, who knew this was going to be like a runway show?
Right. And we did a huge feature on all the women of SNL that we had published, Time to SNL 50. We were also on the carpet that night. So you're
everywhere.
We're everywhere.
I love that. And is Elle the #1 selling fashion magazine?
It's the largest fashion magazine and media brand with the largest number of international editions. We have 50. So
bigger than the other one with a V.
We've got a very wide footprint, and we command a huge social following as well.
Yeah. And so you're the digital director. What does that mean?
It's a good question.
For a novice like me.
No, you're hardly a novice. It means overseeing the website and digital strategy as well as the social strategy and content for
the brand
online, which these days encompasses a lot because
is print still
print is happening.
What it used to be? It's happening, but in the same manner?
We have a pretty hhy frequency. We publish 10 issues a year.
Oh, wow.
Which is a lot. So we have a lot of covers, and it's about, reimagining those stories for the digital reader. Yeah. We, of course, publish our own digital stories, and then all of the social platforms that have bubbled up, TikTok being a huge one.
Massive.
Where we doubled our following in the past year.
Wow. Under your guidance?
With this team.
I'm just saying, giving you some props.
It's all about the team. But yes, we've had huge success there. Yeah. And anytime, a new platform bubbles up, we're on it. We're focusing on newsletters right now and social and a lot of fun stuff.
All the outreach.
Yep.
And Elle is also Elle Decor, so that's totally separate?
Totally separate, but a fair question. I get that a lot.
So not related at all?
We, the same company. We're both at Hearst, but different staffs, different editors.
Completely
but of course,
siblings,
same family.
Sure.
Same publishing
but
family.
Different world.
Yeah, but slightly different.
And I feel like Elle launched weddings not too long ago. It's
not
like
too
newer
long ago.
For us in the wedding world.
Yes.
It's kind of sad because most wedding publications are not dying out, but like The Knot doesn't print anymore, and Brides is overwhelmed, and Vogue is very celebrity focused, and like, where do people go to submit their weddings? It's a question we're getting all the time.
Mm-hmm.
What made Elle decide to start Did you feature weddings in the past? Is this like a reboot, or was this a brand new
It was brand new.
chapter?
And it's a lot of what you mentioned. I think some of the other publications were stepping away from it.
Yep.
And we really always try to meet the reader where she is.
Yeah.
And of course, people get married.
Yes.
And I think we really wanted to find our niche in that space.
Yep.
Where it wasn't, so focused on huge celebrity names, but perhaps, political figures,
Sure.
artists, stylists, people in the fashion world.
Okay.
Maybe people who are, having a bit of a perhaps non-traditional marriage, whether
Sure.
they have kids and whatnot. So really trying to look at it through that modern lens. There are also just so many trends in bridal, these micro weddings and things we wanted to address. It seemed like a fun time.
It's a fun world.
Yeah. And in the post-pandemic boom of all these people getting married, I think we really started to pay attention.
That there was a lot out there and a lot of beautiful things.
Yes.
So if couples want to be featured, what is that process like for them or for their planner or for anyone listening?
Yeah, we get a lot of submissions. I think I do. And then our wonderful editor, Adrian Gaffney, oversees and writes most of those columns.
Okay.
So either of us, hit us up.
You submit through the website or just email Adrian or?
Just email us.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what are
Pretty
you?
easy to find.
I mean, okay, all on the internet. And what are you looking for? I feel like it's so hard for couples. They're like, I want my wedding featured, but they don't know where to go, like based on their wedding style or their fashion or their personality.
Right.
Like, what would you say are the top 3 things that like send us your wedding if it's A, B, and C?
I would say definitely fashion forward.
Okay.
Does not hurt. Beautiful photography.
Yep.
And then sort of a unique story. I mean, we're always looking for interesting unions, like whether it's a unique kind of meetup, we're open to hearing a compelling story. I think that just trickles out to any kind of pitch.
Yeah. I love those 3 because I feel like a lot of times brands are not clear, but that's like very clear. If you have good fashion, good photography, and an interesting story, you want, and we all want to know more. I'm like, tell me more about this wedding if you have those 3 things.
Yes, and all of that in one email is ideal. Yeah.
Oh, you don't want DMs, emails, texts, phone calls?
Right, or just, hey, I have this wedding. I think giving all the information up front is super helpful.
Is the way to go.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me.
And then looking at the other weddings we've published, just sort of get a sense of what we're looking for.
Okay. Are these going to be in print or just digital?
They're just digital for now.
Oh, so maybe one day in print?
You never know. I wouldn't rule it out, but it's a digital only.
A digital
franchise.
world at the moment.
Yeah.
Is there a weddings account, or you just feature some of them on the Elle Instagram?
We just feature some of them on the Elle Instagram.
Got it.
But who knows?
Wow.
I won't rule it out.
You never know. You're trying to get all these socials out there. I'm just
Right.
trying to get all the information I can.
Yeah,
maybe
exactly.
selfishly for myself. I don't really know.
We'd love to have you.
So we were talking just before we started recording about your last name, which I messed up the introduction like 6 times. And I love that conversation, so I want to bring it back here. In the conversation around taking your husband or your partner's last name versus not, you decided to do what?
I decided to take it.
Okay, because you're Claire Stern.
Claire Stern, now Claire Stern Milch.
Yes.
3 names,
3
trying to
names.
make it happen.
Yes.
I had always just sort of thought I would, which is kind of a lame answer.
No, like as a kid, like it's something you looked forward to.
I assumed I would.
Okay.
Just to do something different. I had the same middle name as my mother, so meaning we had the same middle and last name.
Got it.
I always thought our names were kind of similar, so it's just, I don't know.
It feels like you and him.
Yeah, it feels like me and him, and I assumed, if and when we have children, they'd have that name, so it's
Stern
less
Milch.
confusing. But
Or Milch.
Just Milch.
Okay, got it.
Yeah,
But for you, your last name is now your middle name.
Yes.
Got it.
I wanted to keep some element of myself.
Of your name.
But it was a big change, and I think my former middle name was Choi, which was the Korean part of my name. So it
Choi.
Choi.
Okay.
So it feels like some of that identity is a little stripped away, and now it's all Jewish. No one will question whether I'm Jewish.
Yeah, they're gonna know.
Clear. But yeah, I'm happy with it.
Yeah, I love that. Well, maybe you can have a really beautiful Korean name if you have children to kind of like balance the Korean, Jewish. I feel like that's a lot of the conversations I hear with people who take their partner's last name is like, you got the last name, so I get the first name. Or like something.
I will say this was a completely me decision.
Yeah.
He wasn't sure and definitely didn't demand
He was open to whatever you preferred.
Right. I was on my own journey there, and there was a lot of paperwork. So
I was going to say, like, you have to redo everything. Like your passport, your driver's license, like all of it.
Global entry, Social Security.
It's not one form for everything. You have to do.
I hope someone does that.
Can make this a business.
That would be amazing.
Get on Shark Tank, make this a thing.
If it exists, I don't know about it, but it was a lot. And I think, every day, even still, something comes up, whether it's my Peloton account or
that's not right.
That you realize you have to change it. Lyft, just everything.
Your whole world. But Lyft would still pick you up. But you want it changed just for you.
Yeah, I guess. That's a good point.
Yeah, like what you legally need versus what you would like are probably different.
That's the OCD problem.
I was going to say, but we're the same. So I'm like, obviously you would change all of it.
I need everything to be streamlined.
And need to be the same.
It's hard these days with, social handles and this and that.
To have it exactly what you want. And if it's
I was
available.
happy I was able to get Claire Milch for everything.
I love it.
Yeah.
I have a couple of questions for you.
Yes.
What's your favorite meal? Breakfast, lunch, or dinner?
Ooh, dinner.
Dinner. Okay.
I'm not a morning person.
At all? Like, what time if you dream your wake up time, what time would it be?
Never. I love sleeping.
Like on a perfect day, blackout shades, no alarm, when are we waking up naturally?
Ooh, gosh, really late.
Oh, you can
But
sleep.
I would say I can sleep.
Okay.
I would honestly probably be quite late. But I think in a perfect day, I'd be having a leisurely brunch after sleeping in heavily.
Till you didn't want to sleep anymore.
Yeah.
What would be your last meal?
Ooh, that's a really good question. Probably nachos.
Okay. With or without protein?
Those are my vice. Without.
Okay, like classic, like your pizza. I just had to ask.
Yes.
Cheese.
Yeah.
Chips.
Because it would probably be followed by tacos.
Okay.
And that would have the protein.
This is the 2-course meal.
Yeah.
Got it.
And like a really good margarita.
Okay. I mean, I'm very hungry now. All of a sudden.
I know.
And you're not from California. This like love for Mexican food.
We don't really have any good Mexican food in New York.
It's bad.
It's dire.
It's really rough. I do go to Los Tacos.
It's a good
I think they do a good job.
Respect.
You have to decide you want to stand and eat your meal in a hurry because there's no seating.
Yeah, no seating.
But the tacos there are pretty good.
They are good.
Cat or dog?
Neither. I'm not
no animal at all. Bird, fish, like nothing.
No, I'm not a dog person, and fortunately my husband's allergic to both, so it works out.
Wow, this is like really perfect. You got that's really lucky. What's your love language?
Oh, gifts.
Gifts. Okay.
And that sounds a little superficial, but
not really, but you did answer very quick.
I did. I know, but it's how I also express my love in addition to receiving.
Like you enjoy shopping for other people.
Very much so.
Okay.
It's one of my favorite things. So.
Do you shop as you go, or do you shop intentionally, like I'm going shopping because I need something, or are you a shopper that when you see something that reminds you of them, you're like, I have to buy this?
I would say I'm definitely more a targeted shopper.
Okay.
And I'll do it way in advance.
Yeah.
So my brother just had a birthday. He had told me he said some comment about the Ember mug.
Yeah.
Those self-heating mugs.
Heating. Are they? Does that, like, what are we doing here? Does that really work? Does he love it?
He loves it.
Okay.
But yeah, he had said, the comment in passing.
Yep.
So
and you remembered it
because I love him and that kind of thing.
And then you went and got the Ember mug.
Right. Less like go get me a diamond ring.
Yes. And your joy is that he listened and thought of you and got something centered around you that you would really like, not what it doesn't have to. Right. Just the thoughtfulness of it.
Exactly.
I still
get it.
I 100% I get it. It's like if someone buys me flowers, I don't need the most expensive bouquet.
Yeah.
It's like if you bought me one pretty flower.
Right.
I'm like weak in the knees.
I love carnations.
There you go. That's affordable.
Yeah, very.
But don't get me like a red rose. That would ruin it for me.
Like $4 carnation.
Like, you don't know me if you get $4 for one stem.
I mean,
what bodega is he going to?
Inexpensive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, but the Ember mug, I'm sorry, I just have to go back to this. So he must like his coffee or tea really hot.
Or if you drink slowly. It's nice in the winter, honestly.
I guess.
Yeah, I don't have one, but he got me thinking about it.
I pour a cup of coffee and I don't drink it till it's room temperature.
Right.
So like the idea of it heating I would never drink it.
Interesting. I like hot coffee. So.
That was the question I had. I'm an iced coffee girl 24/7.
Wow, one of
fall.
those.
I'm
It
one
is
of those.
frigid outside. No, I'm
Yes.
hot. I'm hot unless it's the height of the summer and I'm walking around
Okay.
outside.
Then you'll switch
Then
to
I'll
cold.
indulge in colds.
What's your go-to karaoke song?
Torn. Natalie and Brûlée.
Wow, that's a big one.
Yeah, it's
Do you
strong.
like when people join in, or
Yes.
that's like your moment?
I think when people join in is a testament to your karaoke ability.
Okay, got it.
It
Not
means
the other
you're-
way around, that you're struggling.
You're
You're succeeding, so they're joining you.
I guess it could be the opposite, like Cameron Diaz and My Best Friend's Wedding.
Yes, 100%.
But I think when they join, I think they're, rooting you
They're
on.
like,
I
"We got
choose to
this."
believe that.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love that. The optimism is amazing.
Yeah.
What 3 words would your best friend use to describe you?
Ooh, that's such a good question. I would hope they'd say thoughtful,
Mm-hmm.
hardworking,
Mm-hmm.
loyal.
I love it. Those are great.
Yeah.
And my last question is, where is your happy place?
That's such a good question, too. Jamaica
Mm.
for a geographic location.
I mean, it's like so beautiful. Where on the island? Do you have a place you love to go to, or
Negril.
Oh,
My mother used to live there, so it's
in
really
Negril
special.
specifically?
She actually used to live in Kingston.
Okay.
But she grew up going to Negril.
Wow.
And her and my father went there.
Okay.
And they've been going for 40 years. I've been going my whole life. So
Do you go to the iconic place you can just jump right in the water and climb up the ladder?
Rock House?
Oh yes, it's
Rock
my
House is
favorite.
great. We
With
definitely
the frozen banana.
we always do a stop at Rock House.
Yeah.
And the beach there is just beautiful. It's the best place in the world.
Such a pretty place. Where can people find you so they can stalk you but not DM you about their weddings?
On Instagram at Claire Milch,
Mhm.
and of course on Elle.com and all of our social channels.
This has been so much fun. It was so
Thank
nice to meet my
you.
twin.
Yeah.
And congratulations again.
Thank you so much. And you too.
Thank
Congrats.
you.
I can't
Thank
wait
you.
to follow the wedding.
Oh my God, I can't wait to get married. Thanks. And now it's time for Ask Jove. And I couldn't be more excited to be in studio with my dear friend Sloan for Ask Jove. What do we have today, Sloan?
All right, Jove, a Cali guy.
Ooh, do we
Jorge
know
from
where
San
in California?
Diego.
Oh, San Diego.
San Diego.
South of my hometown.
South. Okay. They're having a large guest list, but the RSVPs have been slow to roll in. Do you have suggestions on how to get RSVPs to be submitted without being pushy?
Yeah. I think, first of all, the post office sucks.
That is true.
Period. We sent out our save the dates, and 8 people didn't get them. Like our officiant, our dear friend, Megan, 2 of my brothers, 3 of my aunts, like
Dear.
never got them. Like they don't know that they're invited to this wedding. So first of all, it could be their fault. I'm pretty sure it probably is. It could also be the post office fault. It's like a mix of both. I know this doesn't help him, but for anyone listening who's considering this issue and these challenges, digital is the way to go. Digital RSVPs
Yes.
is the way to go. Literally give them a website where they can go and tell you if they're coming or not coming, their dietary restriction, what hotel they're staying in, like if they're bringing a guest, like all of that stuff can happen so much quicker than with old school paper mail. And I love the nostalgia and the romance of it, but the reality is the post office sucks.
Yep.
So I think if you can mitigate that and just cut them out of the out of the deal and just do digital, that's the best way to go. For him, you have to start following up. It's not fun, but you have to start following up. And I would say like set a chunk of time. And you know how people communicate. Are they email girlies? Are they text girlies? Are they phone call girlies? And just go through your list. If you haven't heard, shoot a text. You can shoot a mass text. You can just one text, copy and paste it to everybody. Or an email and BCC people. But you're going to have to follow up. It's annoying. And they're in the wrong. But
Or you can also say like, confirming that you received our wedding invite.
Yes.
Our RSVP date is coming up soon.
Yes.
We'd really love to hear from you. Please let us know.
100%. Or we're so excited with the idea of you coming to our wedding.
Yeah.
Just wanted to confirm if you're, like, still be sweet. Don't be salty. Because it may not be their fault. It might be the post office's fault. But people just forget. Like, my fiance, Kyle, is the worst. He
How
literally,
many weddings does he not RSVP to?
every single one. And he's the person that they text and then they call, but he RSVP'd in his mind.
Yes, I get that.
He's like, we're going to this wedding. I'm like, great. Do they know? He's like, of course. Like, he really thinks that they know.
Did you just verbally respond to them?
Yeah. And then I'm like, how do they know? And then he gets mad at me. And I'm like, no, because I'm a wedding planner. Like,
we need to know your information.
Yes. Like, these people need to know to prepare for you. You can't just show up to a wedding. So yes, follow up gently at first and then, be aggressive. Be aggressive.
BEAGGRESSIVE.
There's 2 S's?
Yes.
All right.
I only know that from 7th grade cheer.
Oh, God. Oh, not from the movie.
No.
Oh, God. You were a cheerleader?
For 1 year because they didn't have dance team.
Okay.
So there we are.
Wow. Like pom-poms and all?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
I need
flyer.
That makes sense.
Toss me
Did you do a tuck?
No. I was not that advanced.
Okay.
No.
I mean, there's a lot of injuries too.
Yeah.
So maybe it's better that you didn't do all that.
Dance.
All right. Anyways.
Goodbye, Jorge.
Follow up.
Good luck.
Bye. Well, that's it for today. And wasn't that fun? Don't forget to send your questions. Again, any questions, send them our way to hi@jovemeyer.com and maybe I will answer them on air. If you can, send a voice memo. I love to hear your voice.
Weddings-ish.
Thank you again for listening or watching Weddings-ish with Jove. If you liked today's episode, please subscribe and leave a review on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. We're also super grateful to Mel Flannery for the music on the podcast. She created, produced, and designed all of the music. And don't forget, you can watch Weddings-ish with Jove on Love Stories TV, YouTube, or streaming TV channel. Visit lovestoriestv.com/live for the list of streaming apps.
Weddings-ish.